I wanted to talk about this real quick. I didn't really put this. I didn't warn you about this really before the show, but it's not like you're not kind of educated about this anyway. I just mentioned a bit ago about sentiment wise and some of the infighting and stuff like that. There's pretty much max FUD right now on a lot of the altcoins within PulseChain. Actually, just today, I don't know if you saw, but just a few hours ago, PDI went down like 30% in an hour. Like that whole ecosystem essentially did. I guess some whale sold down tons of its stack within a half-hour period or something like that, and it took the price of PDI down like 30% in an hour. Obviously, the Tang stuff has been pretty much for them all-time max FUD territory where they're at right now. But I mean, I think it's just kind of overall. I'm not saying anything at all negative about any of the kind of altcoin communities on Pulse. I think the Pulse dominance has just gone up. I mean, I think that's been relatively universal against a lot of the altcoins, but you've got that Whale Pulse account out there whose seemingly, life mission is to. I actually think he probably is invested in Tang, because anybody that tweets about stuff that much, it seems a little bit fishy to me to be real. Honestly, I don't buy it, but yeah, like the Tang stuff is max FUD. They, of course, go back and forth with the Atropa ecosystem. Again, I love all that stuff. I think that's good stuff to see. Briz says he is not whale.pulse. So, okay, there we go. But yeah, what do you make of that? I mean, I'll just take it. I want to go head on with you about this because I don't know how much we'll disagree, and it'll make for some good content anyway. But do you think the Tang gang, is it warranted some of this stuff? Some of the stuff that, and I'd be lying if I say I listen to every space that Orange Gooey or Too Spooky does or anything like that. I've heard some of their stuff every now and then, more so Too Spooky than Orange Gooey. But do you think with like some of the inflammatory ways they talk sometimes, even though there is definitely some knowledge to be gained there too, do you think what is happening in that account and some of the attack on them is warranted, or is that even the right question to ask? Where are you kind of at with all that? I'm curious.
Well, I think totally some of it is warranted. I mean, they can really be assholes just to be blunt about it. Is there knowledge there? Well, yeah, those guys have been around Hex since the beginning. I just find it odd sometimes that they shit on Richard so much, and yet that's how they kind of got their start, or maybe not got their start. But I know they've made some money. I know both those guys that you spoke of were pretty early Hexicans. So I don't know. I don't care for that. If you're going to branch off and try and do your own thing, don't talk shit about the guy that made you some money in the beginning. Just because maybe they don't like what happened or how things went down. I think maybe a lot of these guys don't have the long-term mindset that's needed. I think I mentioned it in I replied to somebody's tweet about how the Hexicans have collapsed, and I totally disagree.
I responded to that tweet today too. I probably got it recommended to me because you commented on it. Yeah,
I think it was Sai who created Hex Toys. So he's kind of changed his persona online as well. Which is funny. A lot of these people have. And again, it all goes back to long-term mindset, knowing what the T-shares are, knowing what Hex the product is, not so much the Hex coin, but the Hex T-share. And for me, it's more long-term. It's all about, do you have the patience to survive this shit and be staked out long enough to where there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to make it that long. And that's why there were so few wallets in Bitcoin that made it that long. And I think you're going to see a very similar thing. Most of the people that made money in Bitcoin forgot they even had a wallet, forgot it was on a hard drive, and they revived it 10 years later. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Things like that. So do they deserve some of the shit? Yes. I think they tried to clout chase a lot. Now, do they have good ideas? Sure. The memes are and can be very powerful, right? You can start a lot of momentum with it, but is it long lasting? Not usually. And that's the problem with some of this stuff is you can get a good momentum. The problem is keeping it. And I think with a lot of those tokens, there is a lot of single-sided liquidity that is only on a sell side. So there's also some value extraction going on too. And I'm not saying that I don't own any of it, because I have some of it. You know that as well. It's just, I think your original question was it warranted? And I think the answer is yes.
I do have one retort to the long-term, short-term thinking here. I mean, like, and while with Richard Hart products, and you're talking about hacks, and we obviously we're here in PulseChain because we think this is something that is a great DeFi space that will last multiple cycles and do well multiple cycles and all these things. But that isn't something that happens with much of cryptocurrency at all. I mean, you and I just the other night were having a conversation around the fire about like what really has shown, not just like it's existed for a couple of cycles, but like has proven it is a product that is going to be used in the world of crypto, still has like somewhat sizable gains. And we named a few tokens. I mean, there weren't very many that we talked about. And I guess my argument back and my argument for the memes, especially ones as good as that the Tang gang are doing, is like, some of these people might just be here for this cycle anyway, because they're realizing that a lot of this other stuff is garbage out here. I mean, we've talked endlessly on this show about, the VC backed blockchains and stuff like that people just get absolutely wrecked on every single cycle, and I would much rather. Now, of course, you always want to be responsible with the amount of money that you're throwing into anything, especially a meme coin or something like that. But to me, like putting your money in something like milk from the Tang gang, because it has pictures of well endowed women and milk and stuff like that, and it's a good meme. I don't think that's any worse than buying like Solana right now, honestly. I mean, I think it's better, obviously, because I do it. So I mean, I get it. I mean, it can seem like, oh, but that's not real. It's just something somebody made up. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. Well, some of these blockchains are also like, good tech and all this stuff, even though Solana goes down all the time, but like these VC back chains that you're going to get dumped on. So I'd rather buy, like, especially in this environment, like we're in the bull market now, I would rather buy, especially from a tight knit community like the Tang gang, that does some of the liquidity providing stuff that they do and everything. You could argue like, yeah, did too many tokens get made, and it's easy to make a dumb decision aping into one as soon as it gets launched or whatever. I've done it a little bit here and there. Yeah, I totally agree with that, but I'd rather be participating in that than buying Polkadot or some of these other legit crypto things that are going to be here for multiple cycles just because they exist. So just as far as the time frame thing, I think as long as you're not putting your entire net worth into it, that these memes, like, what's the time frame in crypto? You know what I mean? For an individual project, product, token, whatever. I mean, it's just not that long sometimes. So
Right, and everybody's time frame is different, and that's the thing. We don't know how long people, what they want out of it. I've been here since 2000, early 2017, and I don't plan on going anywhere. I mean, I think it's going to be around for many more years. So, would I like to make enough to retire? Well, yeah, sure. But I think you have people that kind of look at crypto as, I can get in, make a fortune, and get out. And that's just usually not how it happens. It just doesn't happen that way for the majority of folks. And unfortunately, so many people have that dream. Not many people buy the bottom. Not many people sell the top. Not many people get rich in one cycle. So, it's hard. It's a lot harder than what it's, kind of made out to be, as these crypto dudes that got really rich. So, a lot of them, like I said, the reason they got rich is probably because they bought something, they forgot about it, and 8 years, 10 years later, they're like, oh, I found the seed phrase to this wallet. Let me go find that computer and pull it off of that hard drive, kind of thing. So,
right. Yeah.
That's how it usually goes. And that's a long time. Like I said, people are just not patient enough, I think, a lot of times, to not only pick the winners, but pick the ones that are going to last. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's
No, I feel you.